hearty good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to all of you to Digital Money, a flagship event organized by the Payments Council of India. My name is Kavya R. Chavali, and I wholeheartedly welcome all of you to another fantastic edition because with successfully organizing 14 editions over the years, this year, in fact, we are back with a very pertinent theme that embodies the forward-looking nature of digital payments ecosystem. So yes, we have a very interesting theme that's all about from innovation to synergies. And that's where this particular conference will bring together experts and professionals in the digital payments industry in order to explore the latest innovations, trends, or for that matter, challenges, and also give us an opportunity to engage in meaningful conversations, also exchange ideas and forge collaborations that can actually drive industry forward. Now, that being said, check. Yes, I realize that it's a Monday. And I also know that in one of my previous avatars as an engineer with HCL Technologies, I often remember that every Friday, I would get this Bugs Bunny or a Mickey Mouse coming on my computer saying, hey, it's Friday. And I would see a lot of energy in that Mickey Mouse on a Friday. I would wonder why I wouldn't get that on a Monday on my laptop or on my computer screen. So I realized, hey, you know what? We're going to be dwelling really deep on the sessions over here. How about we break some ice over here? Let's do that because, not just because it's Monday, I love a Monday, but because that's how we will get to connect, we will create conversations, and we'll do that with a lot of energy. So here's what I want you all to do is, take your left hands up in the air, everyone, if you can. Please, everybody. That's right. You can all say hello to me. Hello. Lovely there. We'll keep that left hands up in the air for a little more while. Now I want you all to take your right hand, two fingers of your right hand, and start tapping your left palm. Let's try doing that. And we'll see if you really manage that tea and coffee there. All right, still getting there, still getting there. Let's now take 3 fingers and start tapping the left palm, the 3 fingers. Let's start tapping the left palm a little louder. Yeah, it started to drizzle. Mumbai is getting hot, so we like a little rain. Let's take the 4 fingers and start tapping the left palm. And now, because we all love the sound of applause, let's all take all the 5 fingers, come together with a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank you all, actually, for joining us here in this fantastic edition, because I'll tell you what, we've got some really interesting sessions curated for all of you, and we need that kind of energy in order to drive the conversations. As you've noticed, every transaction, for that matter, converts into a conversation and a conversion, and that leads to another round of ideation. Ideation alone leads it to what we call it as innovation, and innovation to synergy. So we've got a really, really powerful theme here. Now, before we get started, before I invite our very first speaker, I'd also like to quickly take you through what's really in store for all of you right here at Digital Money 2023. Now, as you walked by, you must have noticed we have a lot of our interesting partner booths, and I hope you will be taking some time off during the networking breaks in order to connect with them. So that being said, first up, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank our title partner, Lyra India, and the event is being powered by Razorpay. Let's have a round of cheer to thank all of our partners as well. We'd also like to thank our gold partners, Visa and Amazon Pay, silver partners, PayPal, FidiPay, InSolutions Global, and PayPoint, and our bronze partner, Plural, by Pine Labs. Let me also inform you something that there are also these parallel tracks taking place, so I hope all of you are taking a good look at the agenda that's been handed over to you. Please do note we've got parallel tracks taking place not just in the main hall here, we also have them taking place on the first floor at the Imperial Hall and the Zenith Hall. So do ensure that you're at the right time, at the right track, at the right place as well. Really crucial in order to absorb as much as possible. So the main hall, that is over here, and on the first floor is the Imperial and the Zenith Hall. So we'll be having the parallel tracks, and I'll keep you informed. I'll let you know as and when the parallel tracks take place. At the same time, we have a very interesting lucky draw that's taking place at the Lyra Network India, the partner booth that's just outside. So during the networking breaks, do not forget to head to the exhibition space of Lyra. Go ahead, connect with the team, and be a part of some very interesting lucky draw, the winners that I'll be announcing even in between the sessions. So stay tuned for all that and more. With that, it looks like it's time to get the program started. I know all of you have been eagerly waiting to deep dive into these sessions. So let's actually get the program kick-started with the much-awaited inaugural session, wherein we find out India's role in global cooperation for a responsible payments ecosystem. Now, we are all very much aware about the fact that the government and the fintech industries have been playing their role to make India a cashless economy with a goal in mind, and Lyra, in fact, has been in the digital space providing transaction routing as well as payment processing solutions for more than a decade. So now we have with us someone who's actually developed Lyra's trade and has been the chairman of the Indian subsidiary. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us none other than Mr. Christophe Mariette, Commercial Director and Chairman, Lyra Network India. So let's bring that applause once again back in the air. Please help me welcome Mr. Christophe Mariette.
Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot, Ravia, for having warmed up this wonderful audience. I am very pleased to be here in front of you because I think it has been 3 years that this physical event has not been taken place due to the pandemic. 3 years ago, I was saying that demonetization was really a big turning point for digital payment in India. It was a long time ago. It was in November 16. I remember that in one day we have multiplied by 5 our number of transactions. But I think also now, pandemic is a very key point for digitalization and really in India. Why? Because during this pandemic, we have seen that digital payment was possible, but was also really needed. Because to be able to continue the economy, the only way was to do it digitally. And it has been a great success in India because all the infrastructure, all the digital stack has been prepared, has been done to make it possible. If you look at the figures in the fiscal year 22-23, they were having more than 126 billion of digital payment. This is really a lot. And I think that in the coming years, India will be the place in the world with the highest number of digital payment. And there was a big success. The big success was UPI. If you look at UPI, if you look at the figures in April, there were 890 crores of payments with UPI. This is a lot. 8 billion of payment, nearly 9 billion of payment with UPI. It's a phenomenal success. No other country in the world has got this success. If you look, for example, in Europe we have also what we call instant payment. And instant payment has started, I would say, at the same time than in India. And we would love to reach 1 billion of payments per month. Of course, Europe is a little bit more complicated because there are many countries. And when you have many countries, you have to find an agreement between all the countries. But really, UPI is a huge success. And I am very happy to announce here that we have signed last year at Vivatech in France an agreement with NCPI to bring UPI in France and in Europe. And we are going to demonstrate UPI in France during the visit of the Prime Minister, DG Modi, who will come as invited by France, by our President, Mr. Macron, for our Independence Day on the 14th of July. So we will be more than happy to demonstrate the technology of India in France during the visit of Mr. Modi. And UPI is very important. And it is also important because it is the way to demonstrate that cross-border is feasible in a cheap way, reliable way, and in a big size way. So me now, I only do one thing. I invite you to come in France and to pay with UPI on Lyra network, of course. Thank you. Another very important fact in digital payment is security on conformity. Compliance, sorry. Because, as you can see, there are more and more payments. Payments now are in real time. So you have to fight against fraud. Because when the payment is done, when it is done in real time, it's very difficult to recover money if it is coming from a fraudster. So I think everywhere in the world, all the central banks are putting more and more regulation on a PSP like us and banks and so on. And I really think that compliance is a really good thing. Because if we want to make grow payment, people have to trust in digital payment. And for Lyra, we are much more than honored to be one of the 32 companies who get the in-principle license for being a payment aggregator. We are waiting to get the license. And we see that it is not that easy to get a license. Why it is not easy? Because you have so much compliance, many audits, and you may say something, but they are really looking if you are doing what you are saying. And we have seen, for example, in India, but in other places in the world, that it is not so easy to get a license to be a payment aggregator. And the more compliance we are all, the more we will develop the digital payment. Security is also a big thing. For example, in Europe, we have implemented PSD2, okay? It's a regulation for payment, but the main of this regulation is for having more security on payment, and I would say more security on e-commerce payment. Because most of the fraud is coming from the e-commerce payments. For example, I would say in France, e-commerce payment is 12% of the digital payment, but it is 50% of the fraud. So PSD2 has been implemented in Europe for making decreased the fraud. And this is true now, thanks to double authentication, for example. Fraud has decreased a lot in Europe. And for example, we have implemented 3DS2, okay, for cards network, and we are more than happy in India to provide our solution path for 3DS2 for PSP, for banks, for merchants, and they will be able to have a ready solution for 3DS2. But this is not enough. Now, in Europe, we are working on PSD3, okay? Okay, for more security, for finding solution for cross-border, okay? Because in Europe, it is not that easy to pay cross-border. Mainly, you can pay only with Visa, MasterCard, or other schemes. Now, there is a big project in Europe which is called EPI, who is supposed to bring instant payment all over Europe. We'll see if we can match it. And I think that people from Europe should look at what India is doing. I know that there is strong links between the French government and the Indian government, and they are talking about the really great experience of digital payments that India is having. 15 years ago, when I settled Lyra in India, I think Europe and France was far ahead from India. And I really think that now India is far ahead from Europe or the United States. Because you have a wonderful stack, you have wonderful payment methods, and I think that Europe and the US has a lot to learn from what India has been doing. Another point, which is quite important for payment, it is infrastructure and end-to-end points. I do not believe that to have a good solution on payment, secure, reliable, you have to put box like that. You cannot put many layers, because if you have a single point of failure on all these boxes that you are putting together, your whole system is getting down. So that's why it's very important to invest on infrastructure of payment. And this is also the reason why in Lyra, and we are not that many PSP who are doing that, we are developing all our solutions. All the payments are on our infrastructure, because the most important thing in payment is to be reliable and secure. And if you are not managing your network and your security, how can you be secure and reliable? Me, I don't know. And of course, to have a big scalable infrastructure is a huge challenge. And all together, we have to do this challenge. And a very other important thing is to provide, I would say, end-to-end solution. It's still in the same context. And because if you are able to go all over the end-to-end solution, you are able to provide the best experience to your customer. And this is what we are looking all of us here, to provide the best experience to our customers. And in Lyra, we have developed, of course, an end-to-end solution for e-commerce, for POS. We have an end-to-end solution for POS. And now we have been investing a lot also in an end-to-end solution with a sandbox, QR code, and so on. Why? Because if we want to bring digital payment all over India, it is very important to provide cheap, secure, and reliable solution to the merchants. And that's why we have been investing a lot in these sandbox solutions with a static QR and the sandbox. The merchant knows very easily that he has been paid, and this is working quite well. As you know, one of the major challenges for India is to bring payment to the rural place. Of course, in big cities, everybody has a connectivity. It's simple. But in far locations in India, this is much more difficult. And connectivity is not always there. So I think we have to think also about offline solution, because connectivity might be a challenge in some very far areas. But also you have to find solution, easy solution, to make turn people to pay digital. And a few years ago, we have done a project with Post to bring digital payment all over India. And it has been working. And we are very proud of this project with the Post to bring digital payment in every remote location. And today we are doing more than 10 million of payments per day all over India. And I think now we have all the infrastructure in India, so now our role is to bring the payment to the most remote location in India. So, I thank you for your listening, for my introduction. We have a wonderful audience here. We are all players of payments. We are here to share, to make grow the payment all together in India. And I would like to thank you once more for attending this event. Okay, any question? Feel free. It's a little dark, so maybe I won't see somebody who is going to hang his hand. But
so let's probably have some lights on the audience, and in case if you have any questions, I'm going to request you to please raise your hands. We'll have the mic passed to you. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? I'm already excited to experience UPI in France, so I'm just eager to know any questions, any queries at all.
Okay, no questions. So please come in Europe and use UPI account. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Christophe.